guys, welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel Archituber. I'm architect Vaibhavi and I make content related to architecture and interiors. If you're new here, please take a moment and subscribe to my channel below. And firstly, I would like to say thanks to all of you for your immense support and the response that you are giving on the videos, and especially on the History of Architecture series. So here I am back with yet another episode of History of Architecture. So in this video, we are going to be discussing about the Greek architecture. So without wasting more time, let's get into the video and stay till the very end. So as you can see in the picture, the Greece has been surrounded by three sides of the sea, mostly the Mediterranean Sea. The country is mountainous and separated by the hills and the dells. Moreover, the sea is surrounded by three sides of sea, and the mainland and island are rocky, mountainous with few substantial forests. It had more than 1,400 islands. The typical climate of the Greece is mild and rainy winters and relatively warm and dry summers, and generally extended periods of sunshine throughout most of the years. Okay, so the country had great influence on the geography. Okay, the Greek produced by the Hellenic people whose culture flourished on the Greek mainland, the Peloponnese, the Aegean islands, in the colonies of Anatolia and Italy for a period of about 900 BC until 1st century AD. It had link by trade and commerce with Asia Minor, Cyprus, Palestine, Syria, Egypt, and as far as Italy and Sicily. So, the Greek was considered as the first major civilization in the Europe, and it had four different periods in the ancient Greek as follows: Greek Dark Ages, Archaic period, Classical period, and Hellenistic period. So now talking about the religious aspects, ancient Greek theology was polytheistic. That means it is characterized by a belief in worshipping more than one god. It was assumption that there were many gods and goddesses in the Greek period. There are few of them mentioned over here. As you can see, the Greeks believed in an underworld where the spirits of the dead went after death, just like the Egyptians believed life after death. Now discussing about the Archaic period, 750 BC to 500 BC, the revival of Greece from the Dark Ages started during the 8th century BC. The Greeks developed a new political form called city-states, ruled as independent nations. The Archaic period saw the renewal interest in the overseas trading contact. The Archaic period marked the rise of aristocratic families, the families that are considered noble or of high status. Such tyrants stimulated the development of the arts through their patronage. So now discussing about the Classical period, which lasted around 500 to 323 BC. It is the period of democracy. Every art manifestation reached its zenith. It is the period of political, economical, and cultural expansion of the polis. Now discussing about the Hellenistic period, which lasted around 323 to 147 BC. The period saw the transplanting of Greek art, civic life, and culture to newly conquered areas. The period also saw a marked increased interest in civic buildings. The Hellenistic period ended in 147 BC, when the Roman Empire conquered Greece and incorporated the city-states into it. Now let's discuss about the Greek architecture. Greeks are credited with originating the three orders of the classical language of architecture. Okay, so let's discuss in detail about those. So let's learn about the Greek periods. There are three types of Greek periods. Early period, one is Classical period, and the one is Hellenistic period. So we are going to be discussing about what architectural element each period has brought. Okay, so let's discuss in detail about that. Now let's discuss about the early period, which lasted in 2700 BC to 700 BC. Minoan and Mycenaean architecture is rough and massive in character, with the walls exhibiting three kinds of masonry. Cyclopean masonry, which consists of large blocks of stone piled one on another. Rectangular masonry, comprising of rectangular stone blocks in rectangular courses with the joint not always vertical. Polygonal masonry with many-sided blocks accurately filled together. Now discussing about the Classical and Hellenic period, which lasted around 700 to 346 BC. Greek architecture is one of the columnar and trapeted style, where the construction system is self-evident. Unity of effect in Greek temples was achieved by a single colonnade surrounding the naos. Columns became more graceful and moldings were refined. Columns were erected by inserting metal dowels at the center of the circular block of stone, and metal clamps were inserted in masonry walls. It was mainly temples that were built during this period. Many refinements to correct optical illusions were practiced. They developed the Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian orders. Now let's discuss about the main element of Greek architecture, the orders. Refer to the entire set of the form that makes up the principal elevation of the temple, which consists of base, shaft, and a capital with a horizontal entablature. Columns were understood by the Greeks to be anthropometric or representative of the human body. The base suggests the feet, the shaft suggests the torso, and the capital the head. Each order had its own conventions about the designs of the entablature, and these are divided into three sections: cornice, frieze, architrave. So as you can see from the picture, the Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian order have different styles. So let's discuss about their base style, the shaft style, and their entablature style. So now let's discuss about the Doric order. It represents the proportions of man's body, its strength and beauty, made up of three elements. Okay, the first one being stylobed. The three steps on which the temple sit is called as stylobed. Then there is a column, entablature, a square capital. Okay, the columns have flutes-like design, vertical designs, which were divided into 20 shallow flutes. A characteristic of the Doric order is the use of entasis. Entasis is refers to the practice of optical correction in Greek Doric temple. As you can see in the picture, the diagram 1 visually appears with the correction, whereas the diagram 2 represents the drawing without correction, and the third diagram actually built with correction. Let's discuss about the Ionic order. The Ionic column is said to represent the shape of woman with its delicacy and the feminine slenderness. The Ionic order was evolved from its name that came from modern-day Turkey in Ionia. The Ionic column, including the capital base, had a height of 9 to 10 times its diameter. It had 24 flutes, whereas the Doric had 20 flutes. The Ionic order had a capital developed from a pair of volutes, about 2/3 the diameter of the column in height. At the corner rectangular buildings, an angular vault had to be used. One of its limitations of the Ionic order is that it is designed to be seen from the front only. Now let's discuss about the Corinthian order. The Corinthian column, the most beautifully ornate of the three orders, it represents the figure of maiden. The Corinthian order takes its name from the city of Greece named as Corinth. It, however, appeared to have been developed in Athens in the 5th century BC. This order is similar in its propositions to the Ionic order but has different capital. The core of the capital is shaped like an inverted bell. The bell-like capital is decorated with the rows of carved acanthus leaves. Because of its symmetry, the Corinthian capital, unlike the Ionic capital, is designed to be seen from all the directions. Now let's discuss about the Greek temple and the temple typologies. Now let's discuss about the structure of the temple. It was rectangular or circular in plan. So the internal distribution, pronaos means the open entrance, naos or cella means the chapel for the god's image, opisthedomos means the rooms for holding the treasure of the temple. Okay, so now let's discuss about the temple plans. So basically there are 8 types of temple plans. So first one is Anta, okay, the temple in Antis, double temple in Antis. Then there is amphiprostyle. Then there is a prostyle temple. The tholos means the circular temple. Then comes a peripteral, dipteral, pseudo-peripteral and pseudo-pipteral. Okay, so these are the 8 types of temples. Okay, so these are some of the famous buildings of Greek architecture. So we will be discussing them one by one. Okay, so now let's come to the conclusion of Greek architecture. So considering the architectural approach of the Greek, it was an architecture to be seen. Sculptural values and the volumes were highlighted. Building is conceived as a sculpture. Beauty, proportion and the measure was the main key feature of the building. Conceived from the human point of view, it is anti-colossal. Temple is essential building residence of God, not a place for people. Talking about the building system, dominant lines have horizontal and vertical. The column is essential element in the whole Greek architecture. Walls are made up of regular ashlars. Buildings were polychrome. Building materials were limestone and white marble. The most freely available building material was stone. Limestone was readily available and easily worked. There is abundance of high quality white marble both on the mainland and the island, particularly Paros and Naxos. These were the both cities. Ancient Greek architecture is best known for its temples, many of which are found throughout the region and mostly as ruins, but many substantially intact till now. And if you like this video, do not forget to like, comment, share. And if you haven't watched the previous videos of this series, please do give it a watch. I will link the playlist somewhere here on the screen. Please do give it a watch. And till then, take care. I'll see you very soon in the next video. Bye.